More Motocross of Nations news, more team splits. There is so much for us to dive into on this episode of The Hub on Vital MX. Let's start with that Motocross of Nations news. Another firm contender for the Chamberlain Trophy at the 2024 Monster Energy FIM Motocross of Nations has been announced. Team Germany will travel to Matterley-Basin with Ken Roczen, Simon Lagenfelder and Max Nagel. What do you need to know about this team? Well, Ken Roczen needs no introduction. Simon Lagenfelder actually won his very first Grand Prix at Matterley-Basin in 2022, beating Tom Viau in the process. That gives you a good idea of his level, and the fact that he is currently third in the MX2 class in the 2024 FIM Motocross World Championship. Max Nagel is a name that everyone will recognise, but you may not be familiar with what he has done recently. He is retired from MXGP, but he is very much active in the ADAC MX Masters, which is Germany's national championship. In fact, he leads the MXoN class there by 112 points over Tom Koch. Koch raced in the open class for Germany last year, and that comparison indicates what an upgrade this is. Nagel may not be an MXGP rider anymore, but by all accounts, he is riding maybe better than he has in quite some time. Watch for Team Germany to certainly contend for a podium spot and, potentially, the victory when gates drop on the first weekend in October. There's been a lot of chatter about Shane McElrath this week, as he has split from the Twisted Tea Suzuki team and moved over to Mad Parts Kawasaki. McElrath had already signed with Mad Parts Kawasaki for 2025. So, similar to Garrett Marchbanks, this is just a premature start to a contract that was already in place. Mad Parts Kawasaki have taken to social media to explain what an incredible signing this is for them, and of course, this is a massive step in the right direction considering where they want to go in the future. As of yet, there has been no comment from Suzuki on why McElrath has been cut from that program prematurely. It's not all bad news for Suzuki though, as Colt Nichols will step in and make his debut on the RMZ 450 at Unadilla this weekend. More on that in a little moment. There have also been rumours about Zach Osborne returning to racing with the Muck-Off FXR ClubMX Yamaha team, filling the seat that Garrett Marchbanks left vacant. Those rumours had truth behind them. Osborne actually picked up a bike from the team and got to work in preparation for Unadilla. The training did not quite go as expected, however, and based on the fact that he's not at the level that he anticipated, he has decided to not take advantage of the opportunity. ClubMX have said, though, that they are working on an alternative plan starting at Budds Creek. There is no word on what that could be, but if it's of the level of Zach Osborne, then it will be most interesting. In more ClubMX news, Jet Reynolds is out with a broken collarbone, and Cody Shock will return from his wrist injury this coming weekend. A lot going on under that blue tent. So, as mentioned previously, Colt Nichols makes his 2024 Pro Motocross debut this weekend, as will Ken Roczen and Cooper Webb. The 450 MX class is going to get quite a boost when gates drop on Saturday. Justin Barsha said that he would return at Unadilla, but at the time of recording there hasn't been official confirmation of that. It seems as though he is still in the UK, so it seems unlikely that he will be on the line on Saturday, but never say never. Watch this space. So what else is there to pay attention to this weekend? Well, besides Unadilla, MXGP will resume with Unadilla, the Grand Prix of Sweden, a historic venue, one that's quite hard to pass on, but it's certainly a track that favours Geyser, but Jeffrey Hurlings and Jorge Prado must gain ground if they want to keep their title hopes alive. Hurlings is of course the man on form. He has won most of the motos at the last 4 rounds, and he's actually coming off of a victory at the most recent round of the Dirt Store ACU British Championship. Yes, he is still racing there on his off weekends. He went 1-1 to Conrad Muse's 2-2. Tommy Searle won the MX2 class and tightened up the MX2 title race quite a lot. In fact, the way that's trending, there could be a 4-way battle for the MX2 Championship as the season winds down. And over in Australia, another round of the Pro MX Championship will be run. That will be the penultimate round. And in a similar fashion there, Jed Beaton and Kyle Webster are locked in an epic duel for the MX1 crown. Those two have been inseparable since round one, and there's really no indication of where the championship will go. Webster perhaps has the slight advantage, but it's too close to call. And speaking of Kyle Webster, you may have heard me say on the MXGP podcast show that Kawasaki were looking further afield for their second rider next year. Well, I was referring to Kyle Webster. They definitely had talks with him, but ultimately decided that at 28 years of age, he is too old for the spot, so Webster will not be travelling to MXGP with Kawasaki next year, just to clarify. So much going on in the world of motocross, and it's only going to get busier this weekend with so much happening around the world. We will be back at the same time next week to break all of that down and get into the nitty-gritty from behind the scenes. Thank you for watching and listening. We will see you next week.